Hey guys, I just finished up an account takeover with a Chimera team doing tons of damage. You'll see it, or probably already seen it in the thumbnail. But this team I've actually been asked about quite a bit, and people are having troubles either getting the damage to go up or just getting it to function correctly. So I want to do a quick overview of the team, but if you don't have these champions, I do have two other videos, one with a high trial version of Titus, and then one with a more accessible version of a Titus team. Difficult gear, but more accessible. I'll leave those both linked down below. But this is the team that I just now ran. Now, ran is used very loosely because I set it on full auto and walked away. You'll see in the replay, if you decide to watch through that, at the very end, turn 64 out of 65, Titus actually had his shield stripped by the lion. So there could have been a bit more damage done, but 61.65 billion clash points. That is crazy. Absolutely insane. So first, let's take a look at the presets. Let's do main Chimera damage. Now, this is not going to do good for trials. If you're pushing trials, which is something you should be pushing for, trials are going to be what gives you your mythical materials to do more mythical crafts. However, if you want to be a massive contributor, or even just do one key like this and then one trial key, it's a great idea as well. You can help your clan win Chimera Clash, as well as pick up some mythical materials for yourself. But it's completely up to you. But a lot of people do look for full auto teams doing a ton of damage. And if you have these champions, this is an amazing one. We have three fusion champions. Well, three fusion / free champions. 2 fusions, 1 free. 2 definitely not free champions, but if you have them, you got an amazing team. Let's take a look at the presets. We have Androck, never using the A3 or the Metamorph. This basically puts extra buffs on him, and he does not have a protection set. So Senna, having that protection set, more continuous heals, more turn meter boosts, basically just makes Titus hit harder. So I have Androck turned off every single time. The Viper form could be a little bit weird if you don't have enough resistance, but he is going to be increasing resistance by 10 for each buff on each ally. So you should have plenty of resistance anyways, especially if your team is tuned correctly. You'll see that he is 307 speed, never goes to the second form. So presets the same every single round. Wixwell, 309 speed. We have him opening with his A3 every single time and then prioritizing this A2 ability. The A3, you don't want him using it just whenever he wants because he will actually be overriding the shield, making Titus just keep shrinking because of the duration on it. So you do have to be careful with that. You don't want it out there just all the time. Also, make sure that Wixwell is faster than Androck, so he places the shield and everything up first, and then Androck does his extension after Wixwell goes. If not, you could have a little bit of an issue keeping that shield buff up on Titus. So Wixwell, same preset across the board. Titus, same preset everything except for the ram. Turn off the A2. If you wanted to use Lydia instead of Ramantu, you do lose the decreased speed, but you could have Titus doing this on the ram form manually, but that's a little bit more tricky. You need a high blessing. You need the Nature's Bounty blessing as well. Get lucky with True Fear. You could do a few more trials, but to be honest, if you're just going to do this, leave it like these presets and just never have Titus using this A2. You'll see his speed is very, very slow. It has to be. I tried pushing him to 209 speed. Didn't work. I think I tried like 170 or 180. Didn't work. There are some RNG situations and maybe a few other things worth testing that I will mention in a little while that may allow you to run him at a bit faster speed. But 157, decent speed. Defense, pump it up. We're not worried about him being a lower defense than somebody else because at this point, we just need tons of defense on him and he's going to get targeted by the lion form. Just with plenty of defense and good HP, you should be able to survive that, which I'll go over all the builds in just a minute. For Senna, we have priority on the res and then the A2 number 2, every single wave, the exact same priority. You'll notice all these champions are all pretty fast, pretty close in speed tune. They're all dropping their shields anyways, so it's not really that big of a deal if one like Senna is 10, 15 speed above the others. Ramantu is the other side of things. He is quite a bit slower at 280 speed. His presets are the same on all the waves. Technically, this could be the opening on the Viper if the Viper steals something from you, but Titus is going to be placing block actives on the Viper form anyways, so you don't really need this to be number 1 priority. And I really want the block buffs, decreased defense, weaken, all that kind of stuff, decreased speed placed as soon as possible. So number one priority is great with all these champions, but you are going to want 100% crit rate on everybody on the team because Androck's passive is going to be boosting turn meter every time an ally crits. So you do want 100% crit rate on everybody except for Titus. Titus does not need it. He will always land a crit as long as he's under a shield buff. So let's jump in here and take a look at these champion builds, talk about the relics and their mastery. So up first is Androck. Androck is in a shield set. He's in a 4-piece merciless set as well, getting more cooldowns on this A2 ability. His relic is Journal of Necrotos. He has the extra turn meter boosting gemstone, which will help him cycle a bit more. You could, if you wanted to give it a shot, go and try out the, let's see, is it Faction Wars? Yeah, the Perch Shadow. I do have this on Wixwell. Like I said already, these champions besides Titus are going to be dropping their buffs. They're going to be dropping the shield at least. They're going to have a lot of buffs still, but the shield will be dropped. So if you wanted to put Androck into Perch Shadow, you may, in lucky RNG situations, get enough extra turn procs that will allow him to do more extensions, giving Titus the ability to be a bit faster. But with Wixwell alone, I wasn't really able to increase the speed that much. I think I was able to a little bit, but it's something you have to watch and be careful with. If you don't want to worry about it, Journal of Necrotos is amazing on him. Tons of turn meter boosting. He is a very, very significant turn meter booster. Granted, compared to Senna, he's basically nothing. Now, when you look at the masteries, this is what I have set up over here. Let's move over to Wixwell. Androck also has Brimstone. It is good to have somebody in Brimstone, a little bit extra damage, but you really want to make sure you have somebody with Cruelty as well. Extra defense ignore, and in this case, it is Wixwell. So Wixwell stats right there. You already saw Androck's from the previous screenshot breakdown. We could drop some crit rate, boost some crit damage for sure. This run worked out great, and we really need the crit rate gloves also. Now, as for Androck's blessing, I have Brimstone on him, but you really want to make sure you have at least somebody in the team with Cruelty. If Androck was a high blessing, nobody else had Cruelty, throw Cruelty onto him. As far as his gear, his stats look really good. You already saw those. The crit rate could be dropped for more crit damage. Definitely. It is min-maxing quite a bit to that point because trying to get 100% crit rate plus shield set plus merciless, when the merciless is pretty limited in general, it gets to be a little bit tricky. Now, it could be adjusted a little bit. His damage, though, compared to Titus is basically nothing. The champion who may be worth doing it for would be Wixwell, because Wixwell could actually get that Lion Form trial complete. He was like 650,000 out of 1 million as far as the completion. Now, speaking of Wixwell's build, he is in Reflex plus Merciless. You could also use Impulse sets here. So this is a chance to reduce a skill's cooldown, and this is a chance to reduce it when dealing damage. So if you had him using that A3 ability, he's not going to be dealing damage, so would have no chance to reduce it anyways. But that's turned off. Now, if we look at the Impulse set is going to be very similar. You have a little bit more flexibility here because it's only a 2-piece set. You can fit it in and then work with something else, but it's going to be a little bit lower chance to refresh stuff as well. Extra speed, so you could swap this in as a little bit of padding if you wanted to do that. As for his overall stats, you see him right here, good speed. Could drop this down for a little bit more crit damage. You could push it up even higher. Maybe get him in a 6-piece Merciless if you wanted to try that, to possibly, or even 9-piece Merciless actually, to try and finish out that Ram Form trial. 9-piece Merciless may actually be fine on him, but once again, it's up to your discretion if you actually want to try that out. Perch Shadow, chance to get an extra turn when using their A1 ability if something else is on cooldown, which if something's on cooldown, it's just the A2. So I either want him using the A2 or trying to get that off cooldown. So this is perfect for him. For his blessing, we have Cruelty. You want somebody with a high blessing Cruelty. For his masteries, we have War Master. This would technically be better, but at the end of the day, it's probably not going to make a huge difference because there is a champion who has something that makes the scaling quite a bit quicker in this team. Up next, we have Titus. Titus is in 6-piece Merciless plus 2 pieces of Zeal. The 2 pieces of Zeal make a massive difference. So you definitely want to try to get those in, but the utmost importance is the 6-piece Merciless. If you had a 6-star Blessing and you had really bad Merciless gear, you maybe will go without it, but you really want to try to get the 6-piece Merciless, honestly. 6-piece Merciless, extra defense ignore, Zeal right there, very strong build. We have Cat's Gaze plus 15, very strong Cat's Gaze. We have 1 Boss Slayer on him, one of these gemstones that ignore more defense, and then one of the accuracy ones as well. In this case, his gear substats don't give him much accuracy, don't build him for accuracy, but sometimes you will have gear pieces that have just a oddly high amount of accuracy. And if that's the case, it's going to be great gemstone to have on him, boosting your damage. He has some glyphs that could be filled out as well for even more damage. But having this set up is really strong. If you don't have enough Cat's Gaze to go around, you can switch it with something else. Just know you will be doing quite a bit less damage because you won't be getting this extra 10, 2, 4, 6, 18% defense ignore, plus crit damage, plus this Boss Slayer gemstone slot as a big chunk of damage different. Now, if you're in a situation like this account where you're limited to 1 Cat's Gaze and you have a 6-star blessing on Titus and you want to use Cat's Gaze on maybe your Marius, well, now that makes sense to actually go ahead and switch it back to him. You're going to lose some damage on Titus, but you're going to have a stronger Marius or a stronger second champion. So as for Titus's blessing, we have Heaven Cast currently. If you have a 1 or 2-star blessing, assign the soul to him, but do not pick the blessing. That way you can still get the souls popping up in your shop, but you don't have the damage reduction essentially from having more HP. But 3-star and plus, good to go. Now, as for Titus's masteries, these ones are a very good setup. We have Helm Smasher right behind me. We have just typical strong damage dealing masteries. Cycle of Revenge was actually on him before, and this could be why I wasn't able to run him with faster speed than he currently has. So may even be worth trying to make him faster now that Cycle of Revenge is off. I bet in the replay you're about to watch, you will see him getting some turn meter boosts randomly after a crit, and that would be because of Cycle of Revenge. So now that I just saw that, I changed it. I don't want you guys to see the previous mastery setup and think that's the right way to go, because this extra turn meter boost could be what was causing him to outrun his shield buffs without having a very low speed. So I could probably add an extra 10 or 15 speed to him, adding more damage overall, because at the end of the run, we still had like 100 or 2 turns left. Up next, though, we have Ramantu, another Brimstone champion, 9-piece Feral, as fast as I can make him, 100% crit rate, good crit damage, and accuracy about 420. Looking at Chimera, you see accuracy requirements would be 425, and we are pretty good. So now for the relic, we have the Valcardiac Heart on Ramantu, which is getting us to that shield cap faster, having 3 shields scaling versus just the 2. So if you have this relic, throw it on somebody. If you don't, it's not a huge deal. You'll still get crazy high damage from this team. Of course, the champions in general, we don't have any resistance actually built into them because they just don't need it. For the blessing, we have Brimstone. Once again, make sure you have Cruelty on somebody. If you don't, get it on someone. Now we have Senna. Senna is in a 9-piece protection set. She is not the lowest in crit damage. You want somebody to be lower than her so she can do the res. Ideally, it's going to be Ramantu, who in this case is our lowest crit damage champion. She has good HP, good defense. She needs to survive, very fast speeds, and nothing else really matters. For her relic, we have Journal of Necrotos. A higher star would be even better. More turn meter boost because there's about 100 or 200 turns that I could still take on Chimera. So you want to try to fill those in. Intimidating Presence to boost the aura a little bit, and then War Master. So nothing super crazy here. Relatively simple build. As for a few notes, Titus can be faster if Perch Shadow is on Wixwell, possibly even faster if Perch Shadow is on Androck as well. Wixwell faster than Androck, someone higher crit damage than Senna, and also Wixwell could be built for damage so you can complete that Lion Trial doing damage from a counterattack ability. So the team runs very smooth. Of course, it was 100% full auto. It's a very, very powerful team. The stats, other than the speeds, aren't insanely high. So while these champions are empowered, you don't need this. Higher blessings are going to do better. The damage potential is pretty high, honestly. And after removing Titus's blessing that was causing him to get a turn meter boost, I bet he could be made even faster and do even more damage. But I'll let the person I'm doing the takeover for check that out whenever I send it back over to him. But either way, guys, this is the team. I'll leave the run linked at the end of this video if you guys want to watch that to see how your team is doing in comparison, to see what the damage is versus where my damage is, and see if you're dropping any buffs at a time you shouldn't be. Guys, thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you have good luck building your Chimera team, whether it's this one or a different one. Best of luck and enjoy the fight you're about to see.